Hello and welcome to All About Community. My name is RLHarris and I am your host. I am excited about the opportunity to get to have a better conversation with Seth Butner. Seth is one of our local business persons who has really set the bar high for those who want to come after him. Seth, welcome to All About Community.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here with you, Bob.
You are the founder of Horizon Beverages and operated that for almost 20 years, I believe. 30 years. You must have started as a little kid.
Yeah.
Tell us about how did you get involved in the beverage business?
Well, when I moved out here, I was working for a company called Olympia Brewing Company. I was their little sales rep, but I called on the distributor that was here locally. And I loved the area so much that I decided I wanted to stay. And
Who would not love the Bay Area? Unless they're crazy or something.
And I went to work for the local distributor. Shortly thereafter,
you came out from, you say you moved out here. You moved out here from somewhere, right?
From Chicago.
Chicago.
At that time, I lived there in Minneapolis before that, but I was originally from Missouri.
All right.
A little small town in Missouri. And
Congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs, right?
Yes. And that is in Missouri, not in Kansas.
Not the Kansas City, Kansas Chiefs. Poor president didn't know the difference.
I know that.
God bless him, he's dumb.
But all my brothers and sisters were quite happy there in Kansas City with that win.
Good.
I'm originally from there, a little small town in Missouri. My brothers and sisters live in Kansas City, a lot of them do. But anyway, I came out here from Chicago by way of Minneapolis in 1980, I guess it was. 79, 80, somewhere around there.
And you graduated from?
University of Missouri in Columbia, Missouri.
All right.
A Missouri Tiger, tried and true.
All right.
But after I got out here and I went to work, as I said, ended up going to work for a local distributor named Mark Stein Beverage Company was the name of the company. Mm-hmm. And then I eventually bought them out in 1987 was when I established it as Horizon Beverage Company.
Why the name Horizon?
Well, I had a little contest within the house of all our employees,
mm-hmm.
and I had them come up with names, and one of the names suggested to me by a guy by the name of Will Boyette was one of our employees. Will Boyette, his uncle, was the famous.
All right.
Bill Boyette.
Yeah.
That was him. But he came up with the name of New Horizon Beverage, mm-hmm. and I just cut it short because it wouldn't be new forever, so I called it Horizon Beverage.
Well, now, what was your strategy used to make that company successful? Because you definitely made it successful and ran it, you said, for 30 years until you eventually sold it.
Mm-hmm. Well, initially when I was getting involved in it, I was just trying to survive. I didn't have much money, and I wanted to make sure
that was then, and this is now.
borrow the money to get involved in the business, and it was really rough.
Was that difficult, borrowing the money?
Yes, but I was fortunate enough to have Anheuser-Busch was backing me, guaranteeing the money.
How did you get Anheuser-Busch, big company like that, to back you?
They had a program called Anheuser-Busch Investment Capital Corporation at that time, and myself and my partner at that particular time borrowed the money from the bank, and they guaranteed the money from the bank that we borrowed from. If we failed, they would still own the distributorship, and they could come on in. But that only lasted for 8 years. Mm-hmm. Then we bought them out at the end of 8 years in 95. And from there is when the strategy really went into place about how I grew the business.
And you grew that business to approximately how many employees?
About 150 employees and about 6 million cases, $100 million a year worth of business.
$100 million a year in business.
Yes.
I mean, I tell you, Seth, I am in awe. And that's something I think that we have to celebrate, to see a black man running a business and running it successfully. And that's the image, it seems to me, that we want to portray.
Yes, it was important for us to make it successful. You don't want to have a business and have it failing. But in addition to having it be successful, I wanted all our employees to understand that we had an obligation to the community that's been so good to us. And so we connected it back to the community at every opportunity that we could.
So that connection to the community became very important. And if I remember correctly, during your days of running Horizon Beverages, you were always connected to the community. So that is an important lesson for any business person to understand, and that is connect yourself to the community, and the community will help make you successful. We have to go to break. We will be right back. Don't grab that remote. Put it down. Put it down. Thank you. We will be right back. All about community.
Hi, we're Minuteman Press Oakland in downtown Oakland at 2406 Webster. We're your local printer. We help your business grow. We provide flyers, business cards, direct mail, any product that you need to promote your business, we have it. And remember, at Minuteman Press, no job is too small and no job is too big. Come by, stop at our shop at 24th and Webster, right behind the YMCA in downtown Oakland.
Hello and welcome back to All About Community. When we went to break, I think I was a little overjoyed in just understanding some of the phenomenal events that transpired in your life. Seth Butner. Seth Butner is our interviewee today and is doing, I think, a fantastic job in his work with the community. So connect us a little bit more about the community and Horizon.
I'll be glad to. What was really important to me to make sure all of our employees understood that. And I'll give the brief example of how we did that. The food bank, which is right down the street here from where we are taping here today, we used to close the business every Monday after the Super Bowl, and take all of our employees. They still would have to come into work. I'd take them all to the food bank, and we'd bag groceries for the whole day.
Fantastic.
For half the day, and then go back to the plant and try to set our plans for the following year and tell everybody what we want to do. And I pay them for that day, even though they were giving back to the community, so that they understood part of their job was to give back to the community. That's the way we started off our year every year. And that's the commitment that they needed to have and we needed to have as a company to the community.
And that was a commitment, and you've continued that commitment. You've been a member of the Port of Oakland for some time now, I guess about 10 years? 8 years?
Something like that.
Yeah. And I believe this is your second time as president of the Board of Port Commissioners?
Yeah, well, 3 out of the 5 years that I've been there, I've been the president.
So every time you're reappointed, they elect you president. Seems like they just can't do without that good leadership.
Well, I did. My colleagues, fortunate enough, suggested that I remain as president when I got my term renewed this last time for the mayor.
Well, that's great. I was on the Port Commission for 4 years, and I think they decided one of those years to elect me dog catcher or something.
Well, we've got a lot going on at the port. And
well, tell us about some of the stuff that's going on at the port.
We're excited about it. Our maritime, the port consists of 3 basic businesses. The maritime business, the airport business, aviation business, and then the real estate that's all in between. So we got the maritime and the aviation and all the real estate in between.
Let's talk about all 3 of them. Let's start with the airport.
All right. The airport right now has been growing substantially in the last 5 years to now back to its original peak before the 911. When everything went south on us and we lost.
I was on the
people,
port at that
7
time.
and 8. You remember when that happened? Now we're back to the levels that we had, about 14 million passengers a year, and we're seeking to look at that as to whether or not we need to expand, because Southwest, which are our major carrier, does about 70% of our business.
70% of the entire business at the Oakland airport is
Southwest Airlines. But they're looking to expand possibly, and we got to look at that and to see how it fits in our long-term strategic plan, to how it fits. Now, as you might have heard recently, we lost Norwegian.
I did hear that, and I was sad.
Yeah, that's saddened us too, but they were about 1.5% of our total business. And another one that was about 1.5%, JetBlue, left us recently. So it looks bad at first.
Well, tell us why it's not bad.
Well, let me tell you why it's not bad.
Convince me why it's not bad.
Because we've already got people clamoring for the gates that they left. And so the question
somebody other than Southwest, right?
Somebody other than Southwest are offered to take one of the
I
gates.
can imagine.
A couple other gates.
But it's not smart to have a whole airport Southwest. If they go under, then you lost the whole thing.
Now that's interesting you say that. There are certain airports in the country that do have Southwest as the only one, like Love Field in Dallas, where they're located, and that's their headquarters, and it's basically all Southwest.
Exactly.
Well, while the other airlines are all at Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, the big airport that they have out there. But Love Field is Southwest and Southwest only. So it could be perceived that San Francisco is like the international airport here in the Bay Area, and Southwest could consolidate all of it. In fact, that was how they originally started when Chuck Foster was here and got them here. That's how they originally started. This was the only place that Southwest flew into, was Oakland.
And Chuck Foster, for those who don't know, is a former executive director of the port.
Director of Aviation at airports and the executive director of the port. So it's an opportunity for us to figure out where we're going to go from here. Because that's the airport and that's what's going on there. But more importantly, the maritime business, which is really growing.
It's a big one.
And we've got land, all of the land for the Oakland Army base. Half of it that's ours and half of it's the city. That land is more land than any other port has right next to the port. So it offers us a tremendous opportunity to have on-dock rail and everything like that. We got the rail spur to put in there. It is a tremendous opportunity for us, really, for growth for our maritime business.
And you're about the, fifth largest container port in the nation?
That's right. We're still fifth, hanging on. We're fifth now. I think back when you were there, we were about third. And the L.A. Long Beach is, of course, the main one here on the West Coast. And we catch a lot of these ships as they come up here for the signal. We don't have any first port of calls with them now. Not certain whether or not that's going to be necessary in our long-term strategic plan. We have talked with some of the lines about all of that, and we'll see what happens. But we just announced this month we're up another 7% in our shipments, and everybody's wondering how we continuing to do this in the midst of the tariff war with China and everything, and now the coronavirus. And we're worried about the coronavirus and how it might affect us.
Because we do quite a bit of business with China.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So that one gives us pause to concern. But we're talking about the long range plan of it. And now, what you probably hear more than anything else is, what about Howard Terminal right next to the
And when we come back from break, we're going to talk about Howard Terminal and its impact on what's going on with the port. Don't touch that dial. Don't grab that remote. Don't do anything. Just stay with us. We will be right back with All About Community.
Sinclair Miller Medical Association, founded in 1968 by Dr. William Sinclair and Dr. Rudolph Miller. The organization was formed to improve the health care of African American and other minority people in the Bay Area. Sinclair Miller Medical Association offers annual scholarships to high school, nursing, and medical students who are African American. Presently, Sinclair Miller Medical Association has over 160 members. Sinclair Miller maintains its commitment towards the betterment of the field of health, education, and welfare. For more information about Sinclair Miller and scholarships, contact Sinclair Miller today at 510-863-4560 or visit our website at www.sinclairmiller.org.
Hello and welcome back to All About Community. When we went to break, we were, of course, talking with Seth Butner, and we were talking about to talk about Howard Terminal. And you need to understand a little bit about how that impacts on what's going on today right here in Oakland. And Seth Butner, by the way, is the president of the Board of Port Commissioners for the City of Oakland. So Seth, how does this Howard Terminal and the Oakland A's and all that play into what's happening at the port? Well, and they got to understand that's on port property.
Yes, it is, and that's the reason why they had to come to us first to see if we could work out a deal for them. In fact, if they wanted to put the stadium there, the Oakland A's approached us to try to figure out a way that they could put the stadium right there on Howard Terminal. Now you got to understand where Howard Terminal is. It's right next to Jack London Square. Mm-hmm. It's the first terminal, it's the seaport terminal that comes right next to Jack London Square. It's right next to our offices, right, as far as that's concerned, the port offices.
And if you want to get there, where would you, how would you get there?
Right there when you come into...
coming down Broadway.
Coming down Broadway. If you go right onto port property, right there where you turn around at Scott's,
right,
you turn right and you go walk straight into the stadium. That's what you will be able to do if they finally get the...
So it's a beautiful place to have a stadium.
Beautiful spot.
Yeah.
It will be
transferred. If the stadium is located there, what impacts, if any, would it have?
It'll have a transformational effect for Oakland and downtown. As it has happened in many of the other cities, downtown ballparks has revitalized downtown areas. And I think it'll do the same for our Jack London Square area. Now, of course, you have problems.
Yeah, tell us about some of the problems.
Problems with ingress and egress. So there's a traffic problem that you need to worry about, in addition to a traffic problem as far as port-related activities are concerned, maritime activities, and the truck coming in. Adeline Street is basically the cutoff, we would call, for port business that doesn't need to be interchanged with additional Jack London business or stadium business. And that's what we have entered into discussions with all of our seaport partners to put in what we call compatibility measures. How can they build that and be compatible with the maritime industry?
What's the seaport partners? What's their position?
Their position is they're concerned about that when you mix all those people and housing, if they do housing there, with the port business, that it won't mix right. Like our airport partners over here, every time we think about expanding out our airport, Alameda, San Leandro are concerned about planes going in and off.
That's right.
And so the same would happen for our seaport partners. They're concerned, and rightfully so.
And that's what's the nature of their concern? Are they concerned that it's going to impact the ability of ships to come in or what?
Yes, and the only impact that it would have is the turning basin that they have to turn the ships, the bigger ships that we have. We may need some more room for the turning basin, and we've got that already calibrated in the calculations and everything for that. That's one of the main concerns.
Okay, tell us about some more.
And the most, probably the biggest concern that they have, Coach, as you know, they have Snitzer Steel right next to Howard Terminal.
Yeah, I remember that.
But they are, let's say, they're not necessarily as much of our port-related business, because that's privately owned property, and we would be right next to that.
And they're not anxious to give up their site, is that right?
They're not anxious to give up their site.
I can't blame them for that.
So then, okay.
They're in a strategic location.
That's where they are. But as far as how it will affect the port completely, we got about 1,500 acres total for the maritime business of our port.
Mm-hmm.
If we take 25 acres, which is basically how much Howard Terminal going into that is, out of that to put it to our commercial real estate, it doesn't affect it that much for the overall total. So the real question is, how can the businesses still get in and out of there if you got all kinds of people there all the time for that?
Perhaps an even bigger problem is how you're going to get the people down to the stadium.
Well,
because BART ends somewhere at 12th Street
12th Street would be the closest BART station.
And some of our people don't like to walk.
Yeah.
They should be walking, but they don't like it.
And also we don't have good exit and entry ramps off of 880 to get to Jack Leonard's.
I know, I have problems right now trying to get there.
Yeah, so that's all got to be worked out, and that's part of the deal that they would have to work out before we allow them to put.
Who are they? The A's?
The A's. The A's.
Are they submitting plans to that effect? I'm going to have Dave Cavill on the show on the 25th of this month.
Yes, in fact, the 15th, they submit the draft EIR report, which deals with
environmental impact report.
Yeah, which deals with, that's one of the aspects that it deals with, is the traffic ingress and egress. So that report comes out on the 15th, and provided that there will be some comments and questions and concerns, and they'll have to mitigate whatever comments or concerns that they have on that.
I know we're going to have to go to a break in a couple of minutes, well, maybe even shorter than that. Are there any other issues related to the Howard Terminal that may be of significance?
I would think the biggest deal is the housing. It's not the stadium itself.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be able to mitigate whatever problems. We should be able to mitigate whatever problems the Seaport partners have with that. But the other part, we won't have an opportunity to do is the housing.
Okay.
The housing, we've got to figure out what we're going to do about it.
So there are still issues involved with the Howard Terminal's location versus the Coliseum location. Don't touch that remote. We will be right back talking with Seth Butner in just a minute.
Wireless Plus, your easy access phone provider, wants you to have a free phone, free accessories with free services. How would you like unlimited calls, unlimited texts with free internet? Let us show you how you can get free government-approved programs. Come to our TV at 7801 Edgewater Drive in Oakland, near the Oakland Airport, for your free phone and unlimited services. Call the number on the screen today and let us show you how to gain easy access and communicate for free with Wireless Plus.
Hello and welcome back to All About Community. It has been so much fun chatting with Seth Butner, who really has been a role model for many young people here in the Bay Area. Seth is the former owner of Horizon Beverages, and I believe you have your own foundation now, and you're very supportive of the Oakland Public Schools. And tell us a little bit more about your involvement with the community and some of the things that you're doing that's really making a difference in this community.
Well, I was fortunate enough when I sold my business to establish a foundation in my name, my wife and my 2 kids, Sestra Butner Foundation, Family Foundation. T for Teresa, my wife, R for Raquel, my first daughter, and A for Andrea, Sestra, which is actually my name.
And you have 2 very successful daughters.
Yes.
Now tell us a little bit about them.
Well, I've got one daughter, my oldest daughter is a junior at Duke University right now. She is doing Duke in DC. She's working for RLHarris there this semester, and having a good time and pursuing her public policy degree.
Good.
And then my other daughter, Andrea, is in Cambodia right now. She's going around.
That's hard work, isn't it? Cambodia.
A gap year program that she goes all around the world learning different cultures and different disciplines in every.
And what school does she attend?
She's in Winterline is the name of the organization that is doing this year-long program for a gap year, and she'll go to school next year.
Where?
She hasn't decided yet.
But she'll go somewhere.
She'll go
following
somewhere.
in the old tradition. Now tell us, in terms of commitment to community, why is that so important to you?
Well, it always has been for me. That's where I grew up. My mother always taught me to make sure you take care of those that don't have as much as you. I can remember as a kid dragging my little sled around with food baskets for the less fortunate that I'd have to take out every Christmas. My mom would fill it up my little sled, and I'd take it around to 3 or 4 different people. So I've been doing this all my life.
And you came from a big family, right?
A big family of 12 kids in my family.
12 kids.
12 kids in my family, 12 brothers and sisters, 11 brothers and sisters. It was, we didn't know we were poor, but we didn't have much to put together, but we all strived to do what we needed to do to get where we were.
So there's an old saying that it doesn't matter where you start. The most important thing is where you end. And Sess, you have really made a tremendous difference in this community and continue to do so. You are supportive of so many different causes. I just wish we had more Sess Butners that we could clone. Any idea on cloning?
I think that all we have to do is, as you say, maybe I can set a small example for other people to do what they can when they can. When it comes to me, my Sestra Butner Family Foundation, it gives back and will continue to give back for years to come, whether or not I'm here or not, because I've taught my daughters to make sure that they maintain that in going on forward.
And you have made a tremendous difference. Sess, it has been my pleasure to have you on All About Community, and please continue to have an impact. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
We will be right back.
Positive Links Day program is a community center that provides disability awareness to remove some of the stigmas associated with the disabled population. We are located at 675 Hagenberger Road, Suite 255 in Oakland, California. Our mission is to be a voice for those that don't have a voice. We are recruiting community volunteers for training to assist us to develop and provide awareness for the treatment available for the disabled community. If you would like to volunteer, you can reach us at 510-878-9779.
Hello and welcome to All About Community. I am delighted to have as my guest Miss Ynnad Burrell.
Thank you.
Got it correct, right?
You got it correct. Thank you for having me.
Oh, just a real pleasure, especially because of what's going on now. The election is coming up on March 3rd, and then we have, which is the primary election, and then we're going to have a general election in November. All of those elections are really important.
Very.
For example, tell me, why is it's important. Why is it important to elect federal, state, and local people?
I think for starters, we have to remember we are still important. When I say we, all people.
Mm-hmm.
All people have a voice. And your voice matters, and your vote matters. I have been sensing over the past number of years, somebody will say, oh, it's just going to go a certain way anyway. I'm not going to bother. And when you think about the totality, if you have 200,000-300,000 people saying that, that's a huge difference in how the outcome can be. When we, at the end of the next day, begin to complain about, wait a minute, how did he or she get into office? Wait a minute, how did this happen? Why? Because you didn't take advantage of your constitutional right. So it's thoroughly important to be involved in, this is a primary coming up, a presidential primary on March 3rd. Don't minimize the impact of your vote. Now, there are some other elections that are happening on that ballot as well. But please make sure you get a book. You get a real thick book.
Right.
But don't sit and read it by yourself. Bring it together with family. Possibly come together with community. Reach out if you have questions. And what I'm always encouraging our electeds to do is to have a community conversation. Because not all, can you imagine having to dissect this big book. This big book, and to kind of read through some of the ballots say select 5 people. Some say 10 people. Some say 11. Like, wait a minute, how does that work? Some say just 1. So it's important now to remember you matter. Your voice matters, and your vote absolutely matters.
Now, I know you are running for the Contra Costa County Central Committee.
Yes.
And we're going to get to that in a few minutes. But let's dig a little bit deeper concerning the election of city council people, board of supervisors, and then assembly, and then all the way up to state and then federal. Can you build a case for why it's important to elect a local person like a city council person?
City council is certainly impactful, and it's just that they are affecting your city. So when you really went into hierarchy, you went local, you went regional, you went national, and so forth. When you talk about city, and you talk about community that's happening, you may be talking about resources that are coming in. When you ever take a moment to go to a city council meeting, sit back and observe the conversation, have an opportunity to be involved just from an observant standpoint, and then become involved, because every city council meeting has what we call public comment.
That's true.
So at the very beginning, you have an opportunity to speak about anything. Now, they always have these regulations, can't talk about certain things on the agenda until you get to a certain point. But you have your fundamental right at every city council meeting to do a public comment. What's your public comment? You talk about what's going on in your neighborhood. You may talk about some things that were promised that didn't happen. Now you're addressing the whole council. Everyone's on the dais, so you're addressing all of them. Talk about something that has been happening in your neighborhood. Hey, I'm seeing this happening. I'm seeing that happen.
So it really evolves around accountability, holding elected officials accountable.
Totally holding them accountable. And we know around election time, electeds that are interested, they come around, they have
Make a lot of promises.
Many make a lot of promises, and have your camera ready, make sure, have your recorder ready to remember a lot of the things that they said, because they have to be held accountable for those things and not just lofty dreams.
So you can play back.
Yeah.
So this is what you said.
That's right.
And now you ain't doing nothing. I mean, come on.
I know. And I know that from day to day things change. Things happen, and maybe what they said on one day could not be. I always say keep it real fluid. So when you're out there and you're campaigning and you're talking about all the things you can do, keep it very fluid, because the next day, maybe that promise cannot happen. So you are holding your electeds accountable for sure.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
So I think the important thing to remember from what you just said is that it's important to show up and let your presence be felt.
Yes.
Because if you don't show up, they're just going to assume that it's okay.
You're not interested.
So
and it doesn't matter. And I have to say that our days are full. We work. We are parents. Some are grandparents rearing their children's children. We have a lot of responsibility. So people ask, well, how can I now go to a city council meeting? I have this and that to do. It is difficult. It isn't, I will not say it's easy, but somehow, I don't know, you can bring your dog, you know, you can have to kind of figure it out, but definitely try and find a way.
Just find that little extra strength that it takes to come out and then speak up.
Yes.
We're going to have to go to break. We're talking with Ynnad, Burrell, and don't touch that dial. Don't grab that remote. We will be right back with All About Community.
Visit Lena's Soul Food, a down-home, Southern-style soul food restaurant where every meal is served and prepared with love. Whether you choose to dine in with us, reserve one of our private rooms, or perhaps you desire our catering, Lena's Soul Food is located in the wonderful city of Oakland at 6403 Foothill Boulevard. Our business hours are 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and closed on Tuesdays. Give us a call at 510-957-5663. Lena's Soul Food, where memories and Southern-style meals are made.
Hello and welcome back to All About Community. When we went to break, I was talking with Ynnad Burrell about the importance of involvement in elections. I think I started with local, state, and federal.
Yes.
And I understand that you are running for something. What are you running for? I know it's a good one.
It not only is a good one, it's my very first time.
Very first
time. It's the Democratic Party County Central Committee.
Now, what is that?
I know. Interesting that you asked, because so many people, and what is that?
Yeah, right.
I'm in Contra Costa County, and I'm running in District 1, which is Richmond, El Cerrito, San Pablo, El Sobrante, and a piece of Pinole. The Central Committee, the Democratic Central Committee, has a lot to do with the ballot measures that you see on your election ballot, has a lot to do with the candidates that are running. They don't convene separately, but they are the voices behind getting those candidates exposed, allowing the community to understand ballot measures, really being a support for those who are running in the Democratic Party. The value in that, for me, and the reason I'm interested, there's so many people that don't even know how to, we were talking about the first segment, how to interpret most of this stuff that's on our ballot. We are responsible not only for voter registration, voter information, but we're responsible for making sure that the Democrats who are registered know exactly what's going on by those who are elected. The committee in my particular district, there are 5 seats.
5 seats.
I know in Alameda County here there are 11 seats. In San Francisco, I believe there are 10 seats and various folks running. But in my area, which is District 1, we have a lot. Not only do we have a lot going on, but residents are not feeling connected. Community is not feeling connected.
Now, how do you get them connected or make them feel connected?
I love the field of communication. I've often called myself the Olivia Pope of communication because I absolutely love it.
And you have a communication business?
And I have a communications firm, Glass House Communications, which I have coined as the best PR firm on this side of the Western Hemisphere. And so what I bring to the table is the understanding of how community needs to receive information. I've been a resident of Richmond for over 18 years. I've had my business in Oakland for over 9 years. And I have to say, even in my area, I haven't heard much from the Central Committee. Hence, I said, let me throw my name in the hat because I'm not getting the information I need about what's going on. So let me try this. So for the first time, I am running for that seat. And I have to tell you, I'm having a lot of fun.
Oh, well, that's good. Now, if you are elected, tell us, what will you be doing in order to make things happen?
From a communication standpoint, I am inviting, this is from my seat. Now, there are 5 of us. We have to work together. But from my seat, I'm inviting community to the table. What does that mean? You will know about our meetings. You will know about the conversations. You will be invited to be a part of the dialogue. So yes, we throw out homelessness. We have that as an issue. We throw out poverty. We have that as an issue. Well, how are our elected officials tackling that, those issues? Come talk to us. Talk to us about how you feel about how our electeds are handling that.
You mean people can come talk
Yes.
to the elected committee people?
Yes, that is the way it's supposed to be. And what I'm saying is, because I haven't seen that in my city, I have not seen that invitation. I have not heard about that invitation. I said we have to widen this playing field.
Now, do you have formal meetings and stuff of the committee?
You do, and that's the crazy part. Most folks don't even know that either.
Right.
There's a monthly.
How would you know?
Again, I'm going to make sure that Richmond is a population of 110,000. El Cerrito is a population of 25,000. Then we have El Sobrante and Pinole, parts of Pinole. That's a lot of people. Now, I can't say we're going to reach everyone, but I would start with our neighborhood council meetings. I would start with our safety meetings that happen in the community. I would start with our city council meetings and make it a public announcement. Hello, the Central Committee is meeting on X date. You are welcome to come. It's not a closed conversation. So in my seat as the communications guru, I plan to make sure that everyone knows about our meetings and can contribute.
And I understand you recently had a fundraiser, is that correct?
I did. I had a fundraising event.
Yeah, let's play that clip.
Yeah. Here I stand as a candidate for the Democratic County Central Committee for this district, District 1, which is Richmond, El Cerrito, San Pablo, El Sobrante, and a sliver of Pinole. So many of the folks who have held these seats, they're well-intentioned, they're intelligent, they're smart, they have great ideas. But what I saw missing, because I've lived in Richmond for 18 years, I've never seen an invitation to the table as a community member.
Okay, you want to tell us about...
Yes. What you just heard is, I talked about our Central Committee members. It's no term limits, first of all. So you can imagine some of the committee members have been there for a very long time.
Well, they're probably stagnant.
It's been there a very long time. It hasn't been much movement.
I know you can't say it, but they're probably stagnant.
You go right ahead. And so with that, I'm like, wait a minute, we know the definition of insanity.
Yep, I do.
And we kind of
over and over and expecting a different result.
And expecting a different result. And it's not going to happen. So I said, you know what? Let's break this cycle. Let's have fresh ideas. Let's have an innovative person. Let's have someone who has touched community for many years. I've served community for many years. Not for it's been a part of my DNA. It's just something that my mom and my grandparents taught me. This is what you do.
And it's good to have it in your DNA because it's in your DNA. It is part of you.
It's part of you.
We're going to have to go to a break. Don't grab that remote. Don't even think about changing channels. We will be right back with All About Community.
When it comes to your money, whatever you want to get smart about, you can find at smartaboutmoney.org. Smart About Money is a free online resource. We are a non-commercial, non-profit organization dedicated to helping people just like you get information about money. For everything from how to build an emergency fund to how to deal with job uncertainty, smartaboutmoney.org has the answers you've been looking for. Smartaboutmoney.org, the easy place to start when you want to get smart about your finances.
Hello and welcome back to All About Community. We were talking with Ynnad, Burrell, when we went to break. So let's continue that conversation. I'm really trying to better understand the Central Committee. In your particular case, it's the Contra Costa County Central Committee, and how it works and how it can be more effective.
I absolutely think that the effectiveness can come when we broaden the audience. Usually when you go to a board meeting, and some board meetings are definitely open to the public, then there's voting time, and that can only happen amongst the board, so that's fine. But there's always an opportunity, every board meeting I've gone to, where there's a community member can do a public comment.
No, when you said voting, what do you vote on?
Oh, there are measures that, well, let me back up.
Okay.
The committee actually votes to put forward or support certain measures. Okay. They don't endorse, it's not like their endorsement or anything legal, but they put forth to support. What is support? There are funds that are available to help a candidate potentially have some exposure. There are funds to get more exposure around a ballot measure that a Democratic individual.
Now, how would you help a candidate to get more exposure without supporting that candidate, making a contribution to him?
You know how
him
or her. You know how we have endorsements. So even in this election, you'll have endorsements. Well, endorsements, sometimes when you see that stamp of approval, that person's name, that almost gives validation. So the Central Committee supports in that way to say, hey, this person has come to us. They would like to have a particular measure. We have investigated. We have looked at how it benefits community. We are going to endorse them in name. And it almost says, if I see RLHarris as an endorsement, you're respected.
So you don't give money, but you give your endorsement.
Like almost like approval, if you will.
Yeah.
There is a hierarchy, California Dems, that's a whole nother layer that manages a lot of the Central Committee. So no, we're not writing checks or anything like that.
But you are writing your name of approval on a particular person.
And it has to be or measure or
measure, right.
or initiative as a committee throughout the entire Contra Costa County. So in District 1, there are 5 seats, and we have several other districts. They all come together in one meeting, and when things come to the table for voting, we all have to vote collectively. So each committee member, now that doesn't mean that just because one district you have 5 members, all 5 members have to agree. No, we are still individuals. We are still making our own individual contribution. What I believe, though, is that when we don't allow our community members to be a part, they cannot vote because they're not on the committee, but they can give insight. We can't know everything.
Right.
We can't know all the details of everything. So we have to allow others to be a part of it. And a big part of that is, like I said, letting them know what's going on, letting them know the meeting is happening, making it in a location where they can get to.
Now, you are a candidate.
Yes.
Who endorsed you for this? Who's endorsing you for this position? Since you said it's your first time running.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Hey,
do you have some endorsers?
I absolutely do.
You do?
Absolutely do. And let me say this about the endorsers before I go into who they are. I was very intentional, if I want to talk about intention, that the folks that I requested endorsements from, I actually had a relationship with them. They didn't know me for the first time. Assemblymember Rob Bonta. While he's in this district,
he is.
My assembly person is Buffy Wicks, and she has endorsed. But I've had a relationship with Mr. Bonta for over 4 or 5 years. He's my instructor. I'm in a doctoral program right now at Saybrook University. He's also working with churches on legislation and coding to possibly get some wiggle room around how churches are defined. I have a relationship. Honorable Malia Cohen, I've known for over 10 years. I grew up in the I grew up in the Bayview district. She was board of supervisor in the Bayview district. My mom is still there. We have relationship. Assemblymember Buffy Wicks, I mentioned. We talk about faith-based. Bishop Keith Lee Clark, someone I have relationship with. While he is my pastor, he is my pastor.
Oh, he's your pastor.
He is my pastor.
He's an outstanding young man. I like him.
Thank you.
He's very impressive.
Thank you. Yeah. He is very respected and well known, and he's civic minded. He's involved. That is also an endorsement. All the endorsements are on my website, but also
now tell us about your website.
Let's talk about the website. Let's talk about the website.
What is it? www something?
Yes, it is. It's www.Ynnad Burrell for DCCC.com. That's YANAD BURRELL for DCCC.com. I know it's very long.
It is.
But there it is.
But as long as you laid it out clearly so they can see it,
Laid
then they
it
can
out. Yes.
click on it.
I also have Demlis Johnson, Councilmember Demlis Johnson, who was the youngest council person elected in Richmond.
I remember when he ran.
Yes.
I made a donation.
Did you?
I
Yes.
sure did.
Thank you for that. So those are individuals, and there are others who are listed. I also think about corporate executive directors and leaders. So Nikki Beasley, who is executive director of the Richmond Housing Development in Richmond, she's been in that space for a long time. We've been friends over 15 years. So these are individuals who I have relationships with, who have also said, yep, I think you'll be good.
So people who are supporting you know you.
Yes.
And when they speak on your behalf,
Yes.
we can consider it genuine.
Very genuine, very genuine. I've been consistent. I've been the same for a very long time.
Well, and you really are convincing. Matter of fact, if I lived again in country, I used to live in Country Costa
Yeah,
County.
you want to move back?
No.
Okay.
I want to stay right here in Alameda County.
Okay.
But I enjoyed living in Richmond. I lived there for a long time and was on the City Planning Commission there in Richmond.
Okay.
Back in the early 70s.
Oh, we miss you already.
I know. So anyway, wish I could continue to chat on that, but we do have to go to break. Don't touch that remote. We will be right back with Ynnad.
Yes.
Burrell.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, we're Minuteman Press Oakland in downtown Oakland at 2406 Webster. We're your local printer. We help your business grow. We provide flyers, business cards, direct mail, any product that you need to promote your business, we have it. And remember, at Minuteman Press, no job is too small and no job is too big. Come by, stop at our shop at 24th and Webster, right behind the YMCA in downtown Oakland.
Hello and welcome back to All About Community. I have really enjoyed myself chatting with Ynnad Burrell.
Thank you. Yes.
Who is with Glass Communication?
Glass House.
Glass House Communication.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about Glass House Communication and your involvement with the Oakland African American Chamber of Commerce.
Absolutely.
My favorite Chamber of Commerce.
Your favorite. Our favorite.
All right.
The Oakland African American Chamber of Commerce. I love Kathy. Kathy Adams and I have been friends for a very long time, and I know she has recently stepped into a very interesting role.
She's the president and CEO.
President and CEO and leading the charge. I've had Glass House Communications in downtown Oakland, right at 22nd and Broadway, for 7 years.
7 years? That's a long time.
Yeah, I feel fortunate to have been there that long, and I've had it for 9 years. And the Oakland African American Chamber not only supports in terms of making sure you're connected, but they want to build your business, and they are giving you the tools to do that. I love that every month there's a space and time where we come together with the chamber and bounce ideas off of one another and build community amongst each other. There's also opportunities. Have you seen their newsletters? I'm sure you have.
Well, I'm the general counsel.
Well, there you have it. Of course you've seen the newsletters. Of course you have.
I'm prejudiced.
Yes. The breadth and depth of information, it just keeps coming. So the chamber, for me, those Fab Fridays.
Yes.
Those Fab Fridays are the Fab Fridays are fabulous. Make sure you come on out. That's a time.
That's a good plug.
Yes.
Say it again.
The Fab Fridays are monthly. It's a tremendous networking opportunity. Tons of people. We have fun. We eat. We drink. And it's a good thing. Just make sure you come on out for sure.
But it's mostly soft drinks.
Yes. For someone like me, it's definitely soft. But it's soft drinks and other spirits and all of that. And I also love that I've seen and I continue to see the chamber support visibly. You'll see the chamber at events, doing vending, making sure other folks know, signing up. The holiday event that was just in January.
So you feel as though you're getting your money's worth from the chamber.
I am definitely. I have to say, the write-up in the Post newspaper, Oh my goodness. One of the best write-ups that I've had about me and what I'm doing and Glass House was, thank you, Post. Thank you for the write-up. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you. Thank the board. That partnership.
Yeah, Paul
great.
Cobb is one of our
Yeah.
partners in terms of exposure for members of the Oakland African American Chamber of Commerce,
Yes.
and we really appreciate Paul for his support of that. Now, tell me a little bit more about the chamber. How does it really help you get business?
I like the unselfishness that we have amongst one another. So in addition to promoting your business, because you are included in the newsletter, it's an opportunity you got a question? You need some help with legal? You need some help with accounting? They are actually professionals who are part of the membership that actually help you with that. Right now, I saw the blast that went out the other day, I believe it was setting up a home business or starting to set up a home business. There are legalities to that. You can't just, I'm in business, I'm at home, I'm in my PJs, and no, you have to have business license. You have to have certain accounting reporting.
Absolutely.
All of those things. So it's helping me stay on track in terms of new rules that may be coming out.
Right.
Some new parameters I may have to file for. My permit, making sure my license is up to date. All of those things. So it's phenomenal. Absolutely.
And with that, we are going to have to close.
Aww.
It has been so much fun talking with Ynnad
Yes.
Burrell about a number of things, including your running for the Contra Costa County Central Committee.
Yes.
And, of course, your membership in the Oakland African American Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
It has been our pleasure to have you visit with us. Remember, no matter what you do, when you do it, or how you do it, in the final analysis, it's still going to be all about community. Thank you for joining us.